the bottom of it with your host, Joshua Moriarty.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to the bottom of it. Me, your host, Joshua Moriarty. How are you? How you going? Bloody blah, blah, blah. How are you doing out there? Like and subscribe, bloody blah, blah. This episode is brought to you by me and me only, actually. Hey, alright, no fluff today. Right into it. Episode 44 is an interview with Australian artist Olivia Bartley, aka Olympia. Now, I first heard Olympia's music only about 3 or 4 months ago. I had a few friends tell me to check her out, and I kind of have this thing where, you know, if you get a double recommend, you've got to check it out, right? One person might say, yeah, listen to so-and-so, and you go, yeah, all right, mate. And then when 2 people do it, and people that you trust, then obviously you got to get involved. It was Fran from Rolling Blackouts, actually, who set me down and made me watch a video for Smoke Signals, which I've included in a link for the podcast description, guys, everybody. And yeah, I was mightily impressed. It's an excellent clip. The tune is a smash. Bloody love it. There are a lot of terrible film clips out there, as you know, and this one was original, looked legit, had all the right stuff. So I've been listening to her first record, Self-Talk, a bunch, which came out in 2016. I'm a little behind, but yeah, we talk about that in the podcast, being on your own musical timeline. And she just put out her new record, Flamingo, and it's fantastic. Also very impressive stuff. 2 for 2, Olivia, very well done. We talk about trolls in the podcast. We talk about being an intenso. I like intenso. While making a record, trying to say uncomfortably honest things in your songs. We talk about Pez dispensers. She really cracked me up, had me lolling a bunch. It's a real lollicaust on this potty, as you can hear. Been waiting for a chance to use lollicaust, actually. I heard that a while ago. We start off talking about guitar effects, pedals, and guitar nerdy amp simulators and things at the start of the podcast, just as a heads up so you know what's up. And alright, anyway, here we go. Without further rambling, ladies and gentlemen, Olivia Bartley, aka Olympia. Enjoy.
What's this? I was at the line 6. The line...
Yeah, so that does the job of what the green one, the purple one, the blue one all do.
Cool.
Which one? Do you have any of those?
I've just got a Kemper, so I don't know.
Oh, you go the Kemper.
Yeah.
That's the nerdiest shit, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've scrapped all that. Yeah.
When did that happen?
I've had it for a few months now. Yeah.
Where were you getting all your guitar tones from? Like pinching from yourself or?
Yeah, pinched from myself. I did it when I was in the studio. I just started recording amps. But
I've been meaning to kind of get into that, but
it's the best.
I believe you. I don't know if I've still got that old school silly thing in me. Yeah. I think it's a little silly, isn't it? I should embrace the future.
Well, it's been perfect for me.
Yeah. And what, just the tones from your new album? Can you go back and... Because you have to have the amplifier there, don't you?
Or you can shop, you can shop for them and people profile them. But no, the album's all manual amps, lots of amps.
And you did all of that while you're doing it?
Yeah, but no, it's great.
I believe you.
Yeah, it's really good.
I've been kind of wanting to do it. This thing...
It's more about reliability, because I did a gig and the pedal had become loose and I couldn't figure out... It was my favourite pedal, so when I was looking and troubleshooting, I just didn't believe it was the Empress.
Okay.
So I just thought, I can't do that anymore.
I know. That guitar pedal board has not been failing me.
Yeah.
So, until that day...
Yeah, but hang on. Is that whole thing a board? See, that's too heavy for me. I couldn't carry that.
It's really heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavier than anything else.
Yeah, see, I just had the pretty average pedal train, which is about the size of that. And, scrapped it.
How long have you been playing guitar for?
Years. Many years.
Do you have some favourite shredders? What's your inspo on the 6 string?
Oh, we're going to save this all for the podcast?
We're happening. It's already...
Are we?
Yeah.
Nice.
This is how it begins. You
You
never tell anyone that you started the interview. You just start...
Oh, you must. Otherwise, you get in much trouble.
You haven't given too much away. We're just talking about amplifiers.
So, well, this is a funny thing because I was explaining to someone recently, 80% of my trolls are men, and it's always about guitar playing.
I've never heard anyone use that expression before. The percentage of their trolls.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably 100%, but I can't guarantee, I don't dig too deep on people's profiles, but the main thing is it's always guitar playing that upsets people and really triggers them to write to me.
What are they saying to you?
Oh, I don't know, get fucking guitar lessons.
But your guitar playing's cool.
This is the thing, though, and you say, what shredders do I look up to? Because, well, I mean, I love guitar, and I love guitarists, and I'm so excited about guitar, risk takers, but I'm very unique, and I have my own style, and Ernie Ball isn't just about to pop out a set of strings with my face on it. I'm not a guitarist. Guitar is a tool. It's one of the tools I use as an artist to sort of convey this whole thing.
You wouldn't call yourself a guitar player
Well, no, I think
No, you call yourself a guitar player, not a guitarist?
Well, it's more that, and I just, it's just, in the question when people say, what shredders did you look to? I think, that's where it's coming from when these men...
That's when the trolls are coming at you.
That's when these men are writing to me because I'm offending what they believe guitarists should and shouldn't be doing. And some of it's the frustrated guitarist, and I don't use capos. I had a very incredible musician father, and he was very particular, and he's very eccentric, but he was very particular. We weren't allowed to use capos. But I've heard capo
So you're really
players,
good at bar chords.
Capo players really cop it from trolls. That's another thing that really upsets them. So it's been really fascinating because it's helped me understand who I am as a musician. And yeah, I mean, like when I saw Dead Man, the movie.
Yes.
It's the
Neil Young playing guitar for ages.
Yeah, it changed my life.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I wasn't I'm a self-taught guitarist, but it's always just that I could hear things and I was trying to capture them. Where now probably my skills are at a level where I can, that distance is shorter and I can get to where I want to go quicker.
Yeah, of course. That definitely makes sense.
But I mean, it's just like I'm just always chasing tones. Like, I'm so interested, but I watch myself now because my interest and my awe in this instrument can fall into this. I'm not a traditional guitarist,
but I think
I can't play any Sepultura riffs unless I've gone to Harmony Central and downloaded the tab first.
And why Sepultura of all of them? Of all of the bands to pick. Do you actually like Sepultura?
No, they don't really resonate with me. No. I spent a lot of time with Rage Against the Machine tabs, thinking I'm gonna really impress the band.
Was this as a teenager, or this is just recently?
This was just over Christmas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those songs are pretty easy. I'm sure you can play them.
Yeah, cool. Good to know.
They're way easier, though, if you know them from when you're a teenager and the riff is stuck in your brain.
Yeah.
And then you could just play it by your brain knowing it. You don't even need to look at the tabs so much.
Well,
There's only like one fret that you might get confused on.
For me, it's just that I think for me, it's so important to remain open as an artist, like open to new information, open to sounds, and to always seek things that challenge and test you and your taste and your skill level. But it can mean that I'm spinning out of time with everybody else. So, all my friends have learnt all those Rage Against the Machine tabs, like you said, 1,000,000 years ago. And here I came at Christmas thinking, I might just get one under my belt. I
think that's whenever there's the new hot artist on the scene, I get that thing where I get a little, not repulsed by it, but I don't want to be a part of what everyone else is listening to at the same time because I'm always on my own musical destiny and listening to things at different time to everyone else. And so I think that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's cool.
I know I'm out of step.
Yeah, but they're like that. You want to kind of get the more and more out of step, the better. I sometimes
Well, it's
think
like they
a little
say,
bit, isn't it?
you know, if you read the same books as everyone else, you're going to start writing the same output as everyone. Yeah.
What's your current musical mission? What are you listening to at the moment? What's the?
What am I listening to at the moment?
See, this has been mine recent for the last few years. It's just this tropical,
Nice
sounding stuff. Became completely obsessed.
Yeah, good.
There's
No
always-
lyrics.
But no lyrics. No, I think I got tired of my voice writing
Yeah.
songs myself. I'm like, okay, I need a break from.
Yes, I understand. There's so much ego in a lyricist and someone, you know, using your language as well to hear it.
Yes.
I can appreciate some instrumental music. Who am I listening to at the moment? I'm listening to a lot of Robin.
Robin.
Yeah.
People love Robin, don't they?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I was listening to Call Your Girlfriend, which is quite old now, that's off Body Talk. And I think I was watching the film clip recently and look, I mean, it's old, but I think it's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's old.
Yeah, but it's like, wow, that's incredible.
That's funny that you say that that's old because how old would that be? Not that old, right?
Could it? I'm not sure.
Whereas if it was something from the 70s or 80s, you maybe wouldn't call it old because it just is classic now,
Yeah.
but it's old if it's in the last 5 or 6 years or something,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird looking back in another 10 or 20 years and see which of these artists are classic or not. Because we're starting to see it from the 90s and a little bit the 2000s.
We won't have any classics to look back on.
Do you not think so?
Yeah. Not if we...
Wait, because if the planet completely falls to pieces?
No, I just think that it's harder. We're in a harder environment for classic albums and artistry. If the rate we consume content at the moment, it's just, I think we won't have... You know, it's funny that you say 1970s because you're like, yeah, they're incredible records like, you know, Transformer and... you know, Iggy Pop, David Bowie, but I just...
But they've had a lot of time to sit in consciousness and become the classic album and rise to the top. So I reckon that the same thing will happen.
Okay.
We just can't see it right now because we're in the murk. And
I just don't see that we give artists time to develop.
But maybe then some of those albums weren't their big albums at the time when they put them out, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Transformer flopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, though. I guess are you signed to a major label?
I am, yeah.
And they've given you time to develop as an artist?
Yeah.
It's kind of uncommon.
Yeah, no, I've signed to the best label in Australia.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that you've had that opportunity.
It is, and I really recognise that. And because for me, music, it's about identifying, well, for me, and not for everyone, but what the motor is or what the engine is of a record. And on both of them, spending a lot of time having a really clear idea, like writing manifestos and theses and sending that to the record label instead of demos. And they've tolerated that and indulged me, sending picture essays when they've asked for words. And, you know, I spent 12 months on the new record just creating the world that the record would come from, which is an incredible opportunity.
What inspired that to sort of approach it in that way?
Well, I don't know that it's anything different people have done in the past, like the 70s or the 80s.
Yeah.
But looking in today's context, you know, people are writing records differently, you know, especially in pop scenarios where people get together and it's all about hook. It's quite formulaic. I think I just felt a need to be immersed in something because I wanted to create an immersive experience for the listener, and I wanted it to feel like an album.
Yes.
Start to finish, this whole atmosphere. But to do that, and but I also wanted it to feel quite kinetic and emotional and visceral. So to sort of write a record that had that energy, I had to sort of carry around that energy with me, which meant...
Yeah, you don't want to go off task or off topic a little too much.
Or rationalize it.
Yeah.
Or revise things too much. So it was about, building this little world. And then I did lots of demos and tried different things sonically before we went to the studio. But then the whole idea was that creating the conditions, like preparation and opportunity, and that a lot got finished in the studio and pulled apart and rewritten.
I guess sort of what's happened is there's too much at our disposal. So you can, too many computer synthesizers that you can get, too many ways to do everything. So there's no limitation anymore to give it a definite sound. And I guess records are made over the course of 2 years on people's Ableton sessions or on Logic, and you can use all sorts of different bits and pieces. But maybe it's cool to... The limitation's always what defines the artist and the record, don't you find?
Oh, I needed them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, because I was listening to your conversation with Nick Launay.
Right.
And he said that artists... I'm summarising, but...
No, that's okay.
The artists appreciated him being hard on them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right.
And I laughed because it's absolutely true. And for me, my passion is the process.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever I'm doing, I think, I might learn how to make videos, and I'll just deep dive into that. It's the process of learning and creating. Finishing is not my forte. So,
who's your finisher? Who helps you get over the line?
Well, I've made both Self-Talk and Flamingo with Burke Reed.
Yeah, Burke Reed. Yes, he's good.
He's amazing. And
where's he?
He is, who knows? He's not in Australia right this second.
Okay. But does he have his own studio spot? Or
he works a lot out of the Grove.
Yes.
In Gosford, the InXS studio.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's working in England on an island record.
Right.
So he's done DMAs. He's done all of Courtney Barnett's records, Sarah Blasco. And
he did that Dizzy Death Rays one as well? Yeah,
he's done two of those.
Cool. Yeah, that's right. He's your...
City Calm Down.
He's your finisher.
Rolling Blackouts, I think. Maybe,
yeah.
Coming, maybe, in the future.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
So, we really didn't know each other on Self-Talk, as in that's the first time we'd worked together where we knew each other very well.
And you went back to the same person twice.
Yeah.
That's not that common.
It is not that
I feel like it probably should be.
Yeah.
But again, back to people having too many options now, and they just...
Well, it's interesting you say that because it is quite a controversial point for most people, and everyone has an opinion about it one way or the other. Yeah, I found that really interesting. But
I think the older I get, the more I find the good musical relationships I have, I want to grow them and invest in them more and more, and just... Because, you spend all that time with someone... And if it's not terrible, then why maybe try it again? Because you get better at communicating and knowing that they know what you want.
Yes, yeah. Well, we're quite Puritans.
Yeah.
Completely clean eating.
The both of you too?
Yeah, high protein, no sugar, no alcohol.
Is this all the time, or this is while...
This is just when we're making a record.
Just when the record's being done.
We're actually very similar. And we will just get together and just be complete intensos. And there's no communication with musicians that work on the record before the record.
Okay.
They don't really get to hear much. We just throw them in the deep end. They all come for just like a day on their own. So there's no fun.
For them.
For no one. It is just like...
For no one.
It is an incredibly intense experience.
But you love this process, you say. You love the process even though it's no fun?
Well, it's excruciating. I mean, I think writing is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Okay.
Yeah, and the only thing that keeps me going is knowing I've done it before.
That's like when I go for a jog.
Yeah.
So then why do it? Just...
Well, I think even if, because it's funny, everyone asks, what's your measure of success, and what's success look like, and I always say, well, I would always create music. I'd always be writing, even without an audience, even if whatever happens, because I'm most happy when I'm creating and when I'm learning and when I'm drawing.
But yet it's excruciating at the same
Oh, it's hard, yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know what
but
you
that's
mean.
fine. I guess it's the opposite of being passive, right? Like when we watch TV, it's just passive activity.
Yes.
So energy in or energy out. It's the same as being an artist when you are writing and then you're performing. It's like two different opposing energy fields. So, yeah, look, I don't know. Where there's risk, there's reward.
And what's the reward?
Well, we created something that was a surprise to both of us. And that was part of what I was hoping to do is, I was thinking, how do I inject risk into the work? And I was looking at painters. I was in England at the time, and I think I was at the Tate, and, you look at works by Francis Bacon, and there's such a longer tradition of painting than there is of music. So how do we have Pollocks and Basquiat's? Like, how do they stick out and have names for themselves? What's discernible about them? And they're all painting about the same subject matter. So how, if we don't understand that, how possibly could we write pop music or rock music that's essentially about love and the human condition? How can we be new? And how can we bring something new for the listener or discover something new about ourselves? So I was thinking it's risk. Like, you've got to be able to take chance in your work and inject risk. How do I do that?
Be willing to fail and fuck it up as well. I guess that's the whole point of it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's for me that comes back to trolls and online criticism and all of that. I just think if you're not in the arena getting your ass kicked, I'm not going to take it too seriously.
Okay.
Because we are on the line. We are subjecting ourselves to getting our ass handed to us.
Yeah, I guess it really helps you get stronger and grow as a person. And I think continuing to make more art, you want to keep feeding yourself new information and all of that as well. So it kind of, makes you a bit of a better human, maybe. Like, at least you're trying to do something. And the self-analysis, I suppose, is a good part of it, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think, I guess it depends on the makeup of your brain, but when I'm in the studio, I am never more humbled than that time. Mm-hmm. And then you'll start pulling up songs because you're like, oh, this melody's stuck, or this tone's not right, and then you'll just pull up any song on the beautiful SSL desk or wherever you're working. And it's like hearing music for the first time. You hear it could be Blur, or we pulled up something off Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic, and it's like, wow, it is. You have such an appreciation for music and how hard it is when you are in that pressure cooker. And
yeah, definitely.
And I definitely probably had some pretty earnest moments where I was like, thou shalt not criticize other bands because everyone's just doing their best. I probably should read those notes again. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This is in your manifesto?
No. The manifesto is all just vision statements and, for me, like when I was a teenager, a mentor said to me, you're a very curious person. Like, you should just go sit somewhere and dig. And I feel like I've been doing that all my life. So it is about that. It's just excavation. I had some incredible things like last year, reading Maggie Nelson's The Argonauts. Okay. This incredible book, and it's sort of part memoir, but then she'll reference philosophical books as well, and it's very social and cultural ideas about who we are as humans, but it's that genre-defying type of book that it's such a generous read. And I learnt so much. And then reading Maggie Nelson then led me to Olivia Lang, who wrote The Lonely City, which is quite similar as well. She's talking about a breakup. She moves to New York, and then she starts to investigate all these artists who've lived in New York and have explored loneliness through their work, and then she starts talking about HIV spreading, and had artists like Keith Haring. Incredible. So, you're bringing all that stuff into your work as well.
It's funny, there is, you jump from one book to another concept, which leads you to another artist. I do feel like there's a perpetual, dare I say, journey. But with artistry like that, and I think it kind of feels like it is better to, not better, but I kind of avoid whatever's currently happening, because you're just on your own mission a little bit with it, and if it leads you to listening to the new Drake album, then sweet. But if you're ignoring whatever's happening in popular culture because you're on your own path at the time anyway, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come to you.
Yeah,
right?
That's kind of how I feel about it. Yeah, I'll get around to it.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I think for me, going back to guitar, but I grew up listening to bands like Hot Snakes and more experimental rock music, and that's my passion, is
alt rock.
Well, yeah, but quite dissonant.
Yeah.
And I did think
Hot Snakes. It's Drive Like Jehu related to Hot Snakes in some way. Yeah, I liked all that stuff as well. Yeah. Well, it's very guitar-y.
It is.
But it was our era guitar-y, not like it's not Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, like AC/DC guitar-y. It's
sort of proto-punk, post-punk.
Yeah, it was punk, but they were a little better at playing guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mars Volta and At the Drive-In. And
coming back. Mars Volta are coming back.
Are they?
They've announced they're reuniting. Unless I dreamt that last night in a
No, I don't believe
pitch.
you would dream. I believe you could dream it, obviously, but that sounds like something that could be
specific.
True. So, but what, with John Theodore playing drums?
I don't know. I didn't. I just let the headlines swim past me.
They just need to do the first record, really, and skip the next. Well, the second one's okay, isn't it? Did you listen to much of them? Just the first one? Didn't listen to them at all?
No, I mean, yeah.
Did you see them play?
No, only on YouTube, which probably doesn't quite count, but it is comfortable.
It's a little less terrifying on YouTube. There's a lot of danger in their music when you'd see them live.
Yeah, right. I
kind of like that. I feel like that gets a bit lost these days. You got any danger in your live show?
The live show is definitely different to the records.
I haven't seen you live, I'm sorry.
Oh, people cry and are healed of various diseases. They're life-changing. No, I mean, I've had the privilege of playing with incredible musicians who've also expanded my knowledge of music and taught me so much. But I think for me, you're just trying to create these gesturals, like these emotional gesturals through the live show, which is quite different to the record. And self-talk, we played self-talk for 2 years. We had a really long cycle with that record, which was great. But the live show had started to evolve so much more that actually helped inform the new record, which is quite rocky. Yeah.
So that was the sort of limitation for the new one, is more guitars or something?
Yeah.
Live-ish everything?
Yeah. Sort of downstrokes.
Hot Snakes.
Hot Snakes. Who else does downstrokes? I think the Strokes play downstrokes. It's probably where that name came from.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
But, it's just the sound of guitar strings, and it's sort of, when I'd listen to the Drones, feeling like I could rob a bank and get away with it. I wanted the audience to feel that powerful. And, feeling is such a big thing, and I'm really concerned that I'm talking so much about feeling, and people misread this as just like an emotional or hysterical woman's record, but it's more...
Really?
Well, it's possible. Let's watch. We'll take
okay, what? And so, but you say woman, and that's like targeted at women specifically, you think?
Well, I mean, there's definitely a trope out there of a historical woman, but I think for me, it came from the point of view where I could see how apathetic we were, and Trump had come into power when I started writing this record. And people started to talk about the backfire effect, which is when, someone may believe something, for instance, that the world's flat, and you could present them with facts, and it will make them believe.
Did you watch the Flat Earth Netflix thing?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Definitely worth the watch. Please continue.
So it makes them believe, that the world was flat even more fervently. I mean, religion's a big one there because you've got the element of faith. So, I mean, that's pretty hard to argue with. But it was actually this organization, I think it was in Florida, and they door knocked. It may have been about abortion rights, and it was like 100% voted against. And so this organization door knocked, and people would say, thanks so much for answering the door. Look, I'd like to tell you a personal story of something that's happened to me. And they were genuine personal stories, and it completely flipped the vote. So talking case by case to someone, you can influence them. Mm-hmm. But just presenting facts, and if they're clicking on articles online, it would make them believe their original thought more so. So that was the reason why I thought we need to get back to, when an artist brings out a first record and it's lauded, and then they bring out the second one, and it's kind of like they grow up a little bit, and they're a bit more mature, and we lose interest. Because we're like, I preferred the unhinged version. And so I was thinking, I wanted to bring the audience right to that unhinged, like you are right next to where shit is going down feeling. So I keep talking about feelings because I really wanted to reach people so that they could feel something, and I thought the only way I could do that was, one, to get really personal on the record. And I'm really into Latin American writers who are very, full of imagery, like Lorca, but on this one I tried to strip metaphor out. It was all about, okay, how can I help the audience feel something? And it was like, make it visceral, make it feel unhinged. When I was a kid, I grew up in kind of a rough suburb, and I was at this pretty sad supermarket, and in the car park there was two adults, a man and a woman, and they were both they had a shopping trolley each, and they were yelling, and they were getting louder and louder and louder, until eventually they started to grab things from the trolley and throw it at each other. Like milk, sausages, everything. It was gross. And that is what my record is. That is what the new record is. It is impassioned. It's rash. It's a fistful of sausages. Back in polystyrene days. It's just trying to bring people back to that pulse of where something is happening.
What's the scariest thing you said on your album? What's the scariest lyric? The most honest kind of...
All my PIN numbers. Yeah. I started speaking in code, and I just went, you know what, let's just break it down.
Because I was talking to... I mean, it was the same day that Fran Rolling Blackouts played me your Smoke Signals. Him and I were here just writing and hanging out and talking, and he was saying he'd just looked at something recently which said you should always write songs and lyrics like your parents are dead. So that you're not afraid to say anything. Yeah. I guess in any sort of artistry, I'd like to think that I'd always been able to do that a little bit anyway and not be too scared, but I'm not sure.
I've definitely done that on this record, and I'm saying things that I would never say.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, look, I mean, it's things like, I need you.
Okay.
I would never say that in my life. I don't need anyone.
Do you think as you get older, I feel like I've gotten older and gotten softer and gentler and way more...
No, I'm angrier.
Oh, yeah, no, angrier. Definitely more angry and more bitter, but also more probably softer and willing to say certain things and kind of, I don't know, there's like it kind of works both ways, I find.
Well, for me, it felt, and I write a lot, but I'm always so worried that someone's going to read my journal and misunderstand it or misinterpret it or read it for what it is, and it's horrifying. And I have notes on all the big books and all the chests that have my diaries in case of death, burn. Like, don't put these on eBay. When I watched that Kurt Cobain documentary, I was just thinking, that's what.
Does it feel quite invasive? I haven't watched it.
That is my worst nightmare.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because, like, not everything you write is great. Some of it is just the exercise.
Oh, some of it's terrible, yeah. It's
you know, like sometimes your pen's running out and you're just trying to keep the spark alive with the little ink chamber. It's, and I know for me, I have to write a lot to get to the good stuff, and it's an excavation, and some of it's writing exercises. But yeah, no, I did say things that I'm very uncomfortable with saying, and I would never say. And I have I really hate cliches and stereotypes. So for me to say those things, it was not insignificant. But something interesting did happen, that it unlocked huge valves of feeling for me.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know what I hate? I hate it when people say making records cathartic. Or,
making a record's cathartic.
Yeah.
Why do you hate that?
Or when they play this record and then that's cathartic. I just think that's gross. I think do that work at home. Like, don't do that to the audience. Audience deserves artists, not people who are like working their shit out. You know, because I still believe in mystery and vision and
mystery.
Where what the audience right now, no boundaries, and it's all about explainer culture. Oh, tell us what this means. Tell us what this means.
Well, yeah, I guess Instagram and all of it's definitely ruined mystery, and that everyone can see behind the scenes of everything. People are posting things while they're in the studio. They're letting everything be available to everybody.
Yep.
And I think, you think about someone like Frank Sinatra, or back in those days, he would have been a very mysterious character. You got to see his controlled image, whatever it was that he wanted people to see, but the rest of it you had no idea. And a lot of those classic acts back in those days, and that's what made it. Yeah, you filled in the blanks yourself, and that enigma was what made it so special.
Yeah.
How do we go back to that?
I don't know. And I look at every other creative discipline. For instance, the NGV will do all their blockbuster exhibitions seem to be centered around selfies.
Right.
To get people in. And I understand it. But to get people in, you need to create. It's about the viewer being the center of the experience. And the hard thing is, a lot of listeners, you know, they're going to give a track 5 seconds to decide whether they're going to continue to play it or not.
5 seconds.
10 seconds, I don't know. I just made that fact up and said it with some confidence. But so how do you implore the listener to hang on, or someone to be curious about an artwork? I was recently at Tarawara Museum and Gallery, and they had Patricia Piccinini on, and they were playing these incredible videos from when Sky Whale first went over Canberra.
Okay, I don't know what this is, sorry.
Oh, she made this hot air balloon.
Right.
But
I grew up in New Zealand, so maybe I missed this.
Maybe.
Okay, anyway, please continue, sorry.
Yeah, I don't think you're that young, but no, I'll show you on the internet. Anyway.
Okay.
And it offended everybody, and it was quite funny to see what people were saying, you know. Anyway, it was the same as when Blue Poles, when the National Gallery of Australia bought Blue Poles, was it for $1.35 million? That's the Jackson Pollock painting.
Right.
And, you know, everyone had an opinion about it. Now it's worth $350 or $450 million. So, and there's this incredible, and I can't remember his name, I'll have to look it up. There's an incredible bush painter, and he was interviewed back in the day when it came. I want to say Nigel Godrich, but that is so
Radiohead's
off.
producer.
That is so off. Anyway, he's an incredible artist in his own right, and we'll have to do this in the linear notes. But he got interviewed, and they said, "What do you think of blue poles?" And he said, this is what English settlers would have seen when they first got to Australia. And he said, this is what bulldozers say, like it's just rubbish when they're in the bush. And he's just talking about, what does he say? Now I'm butchering it. He's talking about it's so wonderful to be confounded by art, and what are we as a nation if we can't feel anything? And anyway, I've completely killed that. And I forgot where I've gone. Anyway, where are we? We're out here in the blue poles.
It does not matter.
Talking about the value of art.
That's what we're here for.
So I don't know how we...
I just think we all just need a little more time. So
It could be single culture, because we are back at single culture.
Yeah, but even then, because there's so many of them, maybe we're not again. Maybe it's back to doing a great record, and that'll be the thing that stands out.
Well, I hope that comes into fashion in a month when my record comes out.
You just got to, no matter what, as any kind of artist, though, you've just got to fight through all of it, don't you? You've just got to keep doing what it is that you do. That's all you can do. I mean, this was something I had written down here. I didn't hear smoke signals. Has it got an S on the end? I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to miss. Anyway, I didn't hear that until a month or so ago, and it's probably 3 years after it came out, and I love it. And since then, I've played it to the other guys in my band in all the colours. I've played it to my other friend when I was in LA when we were working, and already there's new people that are starting to hear it, and it takes a long time. Maybe it's you put a song out and it doesn't become immediately huge or become a smash, but things just take so much more time to maybe rise to the top. So you kind of just got to keep doing good work and hoping for the best.
Yeah, I think so. And for me, it's, when we made this record, we made some pretty bold decisions. Like, we drove all the equipment to distortion, things you can't undo if...
Right, commit.
Yes, it was about committing, and the vocals are sung so hard, and we took 3 months to put a vocal down. We would just delete them. Not good enough, not good enough. And they were character vocals. They were sung incredibly hard, and we're all about constructing these formidable melodies, and then I had to double them. And we didn't have that fancy software, which,
Yeah, vocal line or whatever it's called.
We didn't have that, and it was the hardest ever. My vocal range was so strong. I was playing guitar in Paul Dempsey's band at the time, and I came back from making that record, and I blew him away. It was incredible. The body is an incredible muscle. That's what the books say. But my point being is, we wanted to make something, that was confronting, was modern, but that would stand the test of time. That's a tricky one. We knew we were doing that. We knew we were using guitars when guitars aren't being played on the radio in Australia. So we knew that we were making decisions that would offend what is popular now, and I have to own that.
I think that's the beauty of getting older as well. I think you sort of...
I don't know what you're talking about when you say that. Yeah, speak for yourself. Continue.
No, I will. Definitely speak for myself. I have no idea how old you are. I don't know. I guess more so I'm looking at it as like second record, and just as we all grow up, I think you stop caring about trend a little more and actually just do what is you. And these are the artists that I'm starting to be way more drawn to, because it's like, I feel like for most people, the more the years go by, the more you start to know who you really are for the most part, and then you can start to do some of your most definitive work. Yeah. But no casting aspersions at your age.
No, I mean that's, I agree. there are certainly things that I understand better as myself that, you know, like my love of process and making mess. I still haven't cleaned up my writing studio. But there were also things we did that were completely challenging. I'd go to the studio when we were at the Grove and it was just Burke and I, but I just would work around the clock. Still writing lyrics, which is terrifying because I think for me lyrics are probably the most important aspect of a record.
I think these days, especially because we're talking about how much music there is out there at the moment, and a lot of it can sound very similar. And so, I agree that that's the thing that really stands out the most now because everyone can make music that sounds good, right? Like everyone has the same tools on their computer. You can hear a lot of music that's very, very well produced, but it's the lyrical content, I think, that really...
If only we'd written Sex on Fire. I mean, there's a lyric.
Apparently that was the scratch vocal, like the rough lyric was never going to be the lyric. Is that the case? I've been telling that story. That's what someone told me. that was like, oh, we're definitely changing that later, but we'll keep it in there for now. And then... Yeah.
Did they ever sort of string it together in a sentence to make sense? Was sort of like we were thinking about sexual health or...
I don't even know if they ever managed to string it together to continue being a band after that. Isn't that sort of the demise of that band? Yeah, they got too famous. Is there a band you've got people that you love to work with and that's that, or you can fire anyone at any time and you like being completely on your own?
I've worked with different musicians, and because I'm traveling so much, it does mean that I've had to sort of have musicians that are based in the UK instead
right,
of...
you got your band in different places.
Yeah, which I mean I'd love to just have the same musicians. That'd be so wonderful and so comfortable, like traveling around the world in your lounge room. But it just doesn't work like that for us at the time being, which has meant that, you know, my listening skills are really sharp and I just can't sleep on anything. It's, and it's incredible. It's an incredible opportunity to be able to see how different players take their parts and what they give to a live.
Yes, it's amazing how different everybody is.
It's essentially like having multiple lovers, like, if I'm honest. You think, wow, you played the part right, but why are you doing that thing with your knees, for instance? But, the music part is, 20% of what we do. You know, you have to think about the business and the admin and the socials and the trolls.
Well, you do now. Yeah, I guess we didn't used to have to as an artist.
But I do relish. That's one thing about sort of working with so many different musicians is that keep getting thrown in the pool of music, and I love that. So
it makes you better working with lots of different people. It makes you quicker and sharper being able to kind of whip your band into shape, don't you think?
I can't wait to get off from this, and I'm going to call someone and tell them. I'm quicker now.
Are you optimistic, pessimistic kind of person? You think we're the planet's about to descend into chaos? Is it all going to be okay?
I think I'm pragmatic.
Okay.
I like to stay in the middle. I sort of manage my expectations. I mean, yes, of course the planet's going to burn down. No doubt. But I'm pretty measured.
Pretty measured.
Yeah.
What do you think music will save us?
See, that's up there with being cathartic and like dealing with your issues on stage. Will music save us? It's just gross, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
I know.
So
I've never said that phrase before. That's kind of why I said it moderately sarcastically.
Well, I mean, I identify that when I say I want people to feel something, maybe it sounds like I want to save them, but I don't. You can be in your quagmire. You do whatever you want. I don't know that music will save us. I think... I can't speak for the collective. I know as myself, I'm just constantly trying to retrain myself as a viewer, as a listener, like train myself to buy records yes, you can have your subscriptions to streaming service, but we need to keep training ourselves to consume music. Be a consumer. Buying things is great.
Mm-hmm.
Buy everything day. We should bring that back. Try and spend time with art and, you know, the things that have shaped me as an artist, I remember so vividly going to the cinema during the day. That's not a big part of this story, but, you know, seeing Swimming Pool, the film, or discovering Pedro Almodovar. In Westgarth here, we used to have a video store. It was called Movie Reel.
Okay.
And they used to just stock everything. Everything was displayed by director. So you could just scoop up 10 Fellini movies and just go home and binge watch. And unfortunately, that doesn't exist anymore. But that discovery is incredible. First time I saw Bangara Dance Company, it was a religious experience. And I now see that every year. I just think they are incredible. Seeing Conan Moccasin. You know, it's like some gigs that just completely rip you out of your skin. Seeing Siren Song at Dark Mofo, that just felt like such a privilege. And, you know, things that are so alchemic. Same as musicians, gigs, because, you know, musicians can have a bad day. The audience can have a bad day. So
That's true.
I'm a little bit of a citizen's arrest type of punter as well. If I feel like... if I feel like members of the audience are disrespecting the artist, I will go talk to them.
What can you please give me an example of that?
I did it at an Anna Calvi show.
Yes.
There was this couple and they must have been high. And they were doing this thing that I hate where you turn your back to the artist and then they were taking a selfie.
With the artist behind them?
So the artist was in the frame.
I don't know if I probably should have seen that, but I can't remember having seen it.
I mean, it's at least nice that they're kind of acknowledging the artist because they want her in the picture. But they were just sloppy and the gig wasn't as full, like it should have just been sold out.
That seems especially maybe funny for an artist like her, who I think is a bit more of an artist, or she's a thinker and there's a bit more to it. Maybe you'd expect that at something a little bit more base, but I don't feel like that.
Jet.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, next time I see them. But my friends will never let me live that down. I was.
How did it go down?
I think I offered to hit them. No, I don't think I said that, and violence is definitely not the answer. But I did feel... I mean, it's disgusting that I even went up to strangers, but I just couldn't believe it. And I know that Anna Calvi is an artist that is responding off the energy of the audience. And I just thought, man, you're making it harder for the rest of us. Anyway, don't come to gigs with me.
What? Give me something that's happened at one of your gigs, upset you, or you've loved, or what do you want? Do you like doing selfies with people? Does it annoy you? Does it feel like sometimes it's a little bit ridiculous, and what do they even want it for?
Well, I just think, oh gosh, can't you just airbrush yourself into one of the press shots? I mean,
it's going to be kind of the same.
They cost someone money to make, so... I don't know, all of that stuff. I mean, I know for me, like, an autograph is meaningless. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't... I mean, it's not for me to shit on what someone else thinks important.
It makes you more famous every time they do one with you. That's kind of all I ever think about. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, of course I'll do it with you.
That might be
like and subscribe, tag.
That may be sort of fighting my desire to keep underground and, you know, not, you know, to keep small. So no, I love playing live. I love, you know, it feels like that is the rarest privilege we get as musicians, is to actually play the songs. And
it's definitely my favourite thing to do.
Of
anything ever, I think.
Yeah.
In my entire life, is just play a gig.
I had an interesting run recently in Europe. I was touring with Julia Jacklin. Yes, we did 25 shows, then we did UK and Europe. And my record wasn't really released over there. But I was travelling through Germany. Everyone knew the songs.
Right.
you know.
How do they know? Is it on? They can get it on Spotify or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, you can get it if you're looking for it.
It's available. It just wasn't sort of push release.
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't printed on the chip packet at McDonald's or anything like the new one will be. You know, car cushions in Uber driver cars and stuff like that, which will definitely be happening in this one. Pez dispensers.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is because you're signed to the major label. This is the treatment
Oh,
that you
absolutely.
get.
They are like, yes.
New ways of marketing.
What ridiculous idea that hemorrhages money would you like to do? Yeah, wow, all of that. But no, it was incredible. And, you know, Ireland, like Dublin, just, you know, I love it when people skip the small talk but being told to fuck off. But that was actually a term of endearment. What are you doing tomorrow? Oh, I'll go to Glasgow. Oh, fuck off. Stay here. And I thought, oh, great. It's just so great to just jump straight into a culture and how they speak. And in France, I didn't understand what that song meant. Great. Oh, well, I appreciate your honesty. Let's talk. I couldn't remember either. So, because, I mean, that's interesting that the Flamingo is, I've written an album, but then you release singles. Mm-hmm. And I keep telling everyone, oh, wait.
I know, totally.
It's a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes. You need the whole thing.
Yes. But there we release singles. And so I completely understand that it can be hard. Because then they'll take the moments that are quite singly, which are big pop moments and melody. And
no, you need the B-side thing to really paint the picture.
Yes.
And I mean B-side in the nicest way, and that it's just not the single.
Yeah.
I know.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I love that idea of. I mean, it's something I would always want to do is when you put the single out attached to other kookier song off the album.
I would love to do 7-inch records.
Yeah.
As a single, like, so you do the single, but then on the other side you do some weird song.
I know.
Yeah.
But how do we do that on Spotify?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm talking anti-Spotify. I think that was an idea off. That was a physical thing.
I know. I'm with you. I agree. But I don't know how many people even listen. Like, how do you... It's just this constant battle, isn't it?
I'll let you know because my record, definitely, we're going to sell a lot of physical copies. So I'll let you know how we go with that.
I've got heaps of records and no record player.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant maybe your own band's records.
Oh, plenty of those. They're all getting bent out of shape, being taken in the merch bag and never sold at the gigs. But we sold a T-shirt yesterday and a tote bag.
Wow, that's fantastic.
To people I've never even met before.
Wow, a tote bag is a big deal because I've been told they don't sell anymore.
Ban the bag. That shouldn't be the opportune moment.
Yeah, that's true. I'll bring that up. I mean, I'm going to be flogging Pez dispensers, so I don't have room for tote bags.
Is there one song that you never need to hear ever again? I can give you an example. Mine is Living on a Prayer.
Oh, American Pie.
Oh, the long fucking song that goes on forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to add that to my list as well.
Yeah, it's gross.
That one really irritates me. Hotel California is kind of like that for me, though, as well.
Sure. Same song.
It's the same song, isn't it? There's Jacob Dylan. You know Jacob Dylan?
Yeah.
One Headlight.
Hang on, Jacob Dylan.
Yeah, Bob Dylan's son from the Wallflowers.
I was thinking of Jacob Diamond.
Who's Jacob Diamond?
I think, did I get his name wrong? He's playing with Methyl Ethyl now?
Oh, is that someone like someone around
Yeah, sorry,
here?
That's my brain went somewhere
I like
else.
that band. Methyl Ethyl.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. So
I was supposed to interview him and then I mucked it up, forgot something, and then I didn't get in touch and then I missed it.
Yeah, it's
Blew
true.
it.
I've heard he's very intelligent, so you missed out.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll make it happen at some point.
Incredible bass player.
Really?
Yeah.
That's who the Jacob Diamond is.
No,
Methyl Ethyl.
He's a guitarist.
We'll call Methyl Ethyl. That's the person's name.
I don't know who the bass player is, but I've seen them, and the guitarist. Well, this is terrible. I'm really sorry, guys, but I am a big fan. You probably know because I hashtag you in all my posts. The guitarist, I don't know if he still does this, but he does the 2 amp thing, which I love. So one's clean, one's dirty, and it's a huge sound. And they were only playing as a 3-piece at first.
Yes.
But now I see they've got the money to do the 5-piece.
I know. I kind of
I'm going backwards. Eventually,
it's just going to be you.
I'm just going to put an iPod on stage.
Yeah, not even you.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep.
Wait, I had a story. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, Jacob Dylan.
Yeah.
I don't even know what my point with it is, but that's right. He's just made a movie. Yeah, thanks, Olivia. That was a real treat to sit down and chat with her. I really dig her tunes and her guitar playing and her voice. She's got all of it going on. Now, I remember what my story was with Jacob Dylan. It's about his new film, Echoes in the Canyon. And I guess I haven't seen it, but I saw the trailer for it, and I think I'm just getting really tired of documentaries being made in the same way, where it's a bunch of talking heads, the same people turn up, they're talking about the same famous people and how amazing everyone, oh, and then so-and-so came in and he just pulled the blah, 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 and the guitar, and they wrote the smash, and we get it, guys. You've seen that movie a million times before. It's the same anecdotes, the same shit, just a little bit tired. I recently saw the Diego Maradona documentary, which I would highly recommend. There's no interviews, it's just all footage from, I think it's like 1985 to 1990 that they had behind the scenes kind of stuff of him playing football and just living his life in Italy. He narrates a little bit and they have a few other people narrating, but it's just, I don't know, it's nice to see it done in a slightly different way. I think I saw that McQueen documentary and I found that pretty tired as well. It was good, but it's just the same old shit done in the same way, guys, so time to spice it up. Hey, anyway, Olympia, yes, so the new record, it's out. It's called Flamingo. It's the Dog's Knackers. Get into it. It's available everywhere on the wwws. I've included a few links in the podcast description to bits and pieces of hers that I really like. One of my fave songs is a tune off the first record called Different Cities. It's got some real emotional weight. It hit me, that one. There's a lyric in it, you're just a cab ride away, but still years from talking to me, which really, really got me. I think there's certain lyrics at certain times that really become poignant depending on what you're going through, and that was one of the ones. All right, hey, thanks so much. That's episode 44. Back in a few weeks with number 45. Getting close to 50 soon. Gonna have to do something special. No idea what that was. Any suggestions? Send me a message on the gram. Right on. Thanks a bunch. See you next time. Take care. See you later.